Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you, folks. Here we are, another day. Interesting developments. Oh, was anyone around to catch that move? Morning, Brett. Morning, Najam. Anyone else to catch that move in the S&P 500 on that headline? Najam, did you catch that? I was wondering. I wasn't around, so I totally missed it. Oh, well done, Najam. Very good. Konstantinos, Brett, did you manage to get that head? That was a great example of a headline yesterday when Trump delayed the tariffs. And you look at the kind of moves that we saw on that announcement. Here it is, down here. Yeah, Brett, I missed it too. But look at, just so you know, look at the moves that you get. Look, so that was from about 50.40. I understand, Konstantinos. Look, from 50, maybe 51, then up to 5,200 in 60 seconds.
Update from the CPC, the ENSO
Incredible move.
During the Northern Hemisphere summer with a greater than 50% chance through August to October this year.
And you can see, look, even when these...
Just in remarks, Tom BOE Deputy Governor Breeden says latest developments have a material impact on economic outlook and risks.
And even when you miss it, right, you can see little instances with like sellers get trapped and price keeps moving higher. When you see these sellers getting trapped here, it just keeps moving on up. There's sort of plenty of little opportunities off of it. Well, don't worry, because we're dealing with US President Trump here, and tariffs can go off, right, just like that. And there's multiple headlines still to keep an eye out on. And also there's specific deals that may be done that can also boost sentiment. So we'll just remain sensitive to headlines, and it's headline trading again. Now, if you look at the move, what we've just seen, this huge rise in the S&P 500, and then we've seen a pullback, and actually the trend at the moment is a gentle trend lower. That's what we've seen, okay, in terms of the actual market reaction from the Asia session, and inventory is negative. And we can see here we're starting to get the potential for some trapped buyers.
We have seen substantial progress on disinflation.
And prices trying to move lower, testing those lows. I'll get onto the CPI print in a minute. But I wanted to show you technically, look at this in the daily chart. You see, you've got quite a good potential run down to these trapped sellers here on the daily chart. See those trapped sellers, standard deviation? Wouldn't be surprised to see a move back down here and potentially a push higher. And also notice you've got these buyers, right? Trap these sellers here. So we're in a key buy zone on the daily chart.
Further from Breeden says the world has moved on significantly since the March MPC meeting.
Looking at the value area high for this week, that is all the way down there now at 5,200. So on the weekly chart, you've got that. But we've also got this value area that we're just rejecting at the moment. See this value area here? So price rejecting that previous value area, moved up and has found sellers. And you can see on the hourly chart, price has just trapped those buyers. So sellers have got the edge right now. And coming into the open, we're looking for opportunities where buyers get trapped and price moves lower.
Unclear what the overall landscape will be for tariffs in the medium term.
At the moment, in the daily lows, but if you start pushing down through these 5363, morning, gentlemen. Good to see you. Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Good morning. Good to see you. Just running through the broad outlook, Anthony. Market's more biased to sell lower at the moment. That's what it wants to do. We've hit these daily lows and we found a little bit of a bid. Now, that sell-off was very predictable on the CPI print. I was covering it live, and essentially, you look at the Truflation Index, it's indicating that inflation is heading lower, right? And we've looked at that before. So it wasn't a massive surprise for us to see this slightly weaker inflation print. Look, below market's minimum expectations for the headline core and for the month on month, right? And the headline was below market's consensus in line with the low, and the same with the core. So that's weak inflation, which should be positive for stocks, right? Because it means, okay, the Fed will be more likely to cut interest rates. But I was expecting it to be faded as it was because tariffs are inflationary, right? Even though there's been a pause on tariffs, they're still coming. Most people think that you can absorb 10% in tariffs. That's kind of okay. But the moment it goes above 10%, tariffs can't be absorbed and some costs will be passed on to the consumer. Now, the problem with this is that the consumer is going to have to pay more. And if prices suddenly go up, that's two things. One, consumers buy less. So companies are less profitable. And then two, inflation goes up. So that was a stagflation print. So that has been this big wobble in the bond market is being reported as what really freaked out Donald Trump, right? Suddenly seeing these yields go higher significantly means that the bond market said, we see stagflation, low growth, high inflation. And that's what really sort of worried those markets. And, instead of bonds being bought, they were being sold. Now, what that means for us today is just simply we remain focused on key headline announcements to do with tariffs. It means we also need to just keep looking at what markets are actually doing and what the key elements are. The rhythm is lower, but at the moment we're finding a little bit of support around this 5370. But in terms of the big areas, you can see you've got some trapped buyers there. So this region here is a great region for shorting. So what I'm looking for here is any reasons, any potential opportunities for shorting in this kind of zone. So I'm going to have that there. I'm looking for selling, okay? And that's my initial reaction as I'm heading into the US Open. You can see here that these sellers have trapped all these buyers here, right? So that's like a key kind of sell area. So we're looking for this. Do we see opportunities for selling? Any example where you get buyers trapped? Here's a good example here, just coming into the open, right? So that means sellers suddenly coming in, right? Pull back to that 5393. I'll be happy to short that into, right, the current dynamic. So let's see. That's just what we're looking for. So I'm happy to short from that 5394 stops just above the 5404. Sellers coming in, it's weird, expect selling, and expect this to potentially move lower. It's not bad. NADJAM's got single prints under 5271. So any sort of downside, oh, nice. Well done.
Just back to US's Hassett says that Trump has had a good relationship with the Xi, but no talk yet.
Right. So I've just shorted that.
More from BOE's Deputy Governor Breeden says government bond yields have been volatile.
Well, there was that news about Trump and Z, but that's okay. Right. So that's it. So just selling with those buyers being stuck up there, right? And just seeing if we can move lower there on this, right? Trapped up there. Let's see if we get some kind of reaction from sellers. We had a sell up against those trapped buyers there.
And Breeden says we judge the risk of a future further sharp correction to risky asset prices remains high.
Right, I'm going to have another short there. Just taking a second short up at that level. Quite like that. If we get back above here, then obviously I'm just clearing out. I just saw those trapped sellers on the 5. It's a bit contradictory, but I'm going to go with those trapped buyers on the 15. So I'm going to stick with that. Just got to be careful of it. Let's see if I can clear out these lows quickly, ideally. If I don't, I'll get out of it. That's nice. One position closed and the second position closed. I've taken them both out there as we just hit that level. So that you can see that's just right, just here. I'll make sure I close my trades out. There we go. Okay, nice little move. Made a lot of sense. You just see them. That's on the micros. Yep. Thanks, Anthony. Yep. Great. Just shows you that's a nice area. So we'll keep looking for the good areas. Keep looking for the good opportunities. And we've got the open coming up. And that made sense. You know, we could build the case from the hourly trapped sellers. This is a key area, looking for those sellers. And we've got the first opportunity of getting in, which is the 1 minute. Now, as NADJAM pointed out, we had contradiction with these sellers getting trapped, right? So it's mixed. So that's why, okay, just take profit as you get it up against this standard deviation. That's the key thing there. Now here, underneath those sellers, buyers, you expect a little bit more of a run. So those buyers get trapped here on the 1, you'd expect a little bit more of a run. Let's see on the 15. You've got 10 seconds, so just watch here. See if you get underneath this level. Get underneath this level, then you've got a bit more of a run, probably lower. Otherwise, just watch out for a little recovery from here. Possible recovery, definitely, I think, but possibly because you had a false break of that level there. Don't want to get too granular. And then you've got here, you've got these sellers being trapped. You've got this movement lower though still, but just holding here makes sense. So everyone doing all right? Brian, Brett, you doing okay?
Just making you aware, I see remarks from White House economic advisor Moran. It says President is buying
Good.
time to create trade deals.
Good stuff, guys.
CNBC.
Okay, we're going to keep looking for those good opportunities, obvious, clear, tradable opportunities. Got the open coming up shortly, so we've got to be very careful here. This area here is a nice area for potential breaking out lower, so keep a careful eye on this. Don't forget the big picture. Looking for some kind of support, potentially around 5,300. Buyers getting trapped now. On mass sellers just coming in on that, trying to break out of the low. Right, this is interesting. It's an attempt at a breakout, but will we get it? Let's see. So, just on the 1 minute, heavy sellers coming in, 1,200. We've got all these buyers trapped up here. Great area for potential shorting from. We have potentially broken down through these lows of the day. So price wants to take a run lower. Lots of heavy selling. Let's see, do we get a retracement back up? That is a breakout of the daily lows on volume. Right, can we get a move up here? So probably a test of 5,363 would be the sell area.
I'm just seeing a remark here from US President Trump on True Social saying just out, inflation is down.
So I've just sold as we've hit into that area. And I'm going to take another sell if we get up towards that point of control. I'm going to be careful of here is a false break of this low. So let's see. That's a key area for shorting that we're in. Right, taking another short. Just up at that point of control. That's a good area. Good. Let's see if anyone gets trapped up here or not. That's okay. Still in this. See if we can get a bit more out of it. More sellers coming in. Right. Taking it off. Oh, it did take a while, didn't it? Look at that. Nice. Just took it off down there. Checking everything's closed across the board. You're still going. The delta's still negative, right? Still building lower. Great trade there. Look at that. Sellers pull back to that point of control. Selling. Right, we now come to a 15-minute close about to happen. Right, so now we can start moving down for another opportunity to sell. Big target down here, 5,300. We know that. Lovely. Look here. You've got sellers trapped there and here. So what we're looking for now is any move into this area for a potential sell. Right, so you've got potential sellers you should find here against that 15, but I want to manage the risk a little bit more carefully. So I'm going to go back to the 5 and start looking for opportunities for. Oh, look at that! Wow, there's some big time sellers up there, aren't they? They're lovely. They're loving that. So looking for opportunities for selling in this area. So here we are, April the 10th. The key opportunity today was when we had Delta moving negative at the open of the session. We saw the European and Asian session trending casually lower, hit a little bit of a range just before the open in the late European morning. And then you can see here, we did still get some sellers. We had the CPI print, which pushed price higher, but it was never going to be significant because of the tariffs, which although delayed are still going to come into place, and they are inflationary. So even though we had a weak CPI print, S&P 500 still sold off, up and then down, and then we had helpfully had some trap buyers here and trap buyers there on this candle. So once we had that 15-minute candle trapping these buyers and sellers, it meant any move up to that area was just a great area for shorting. And we were looking in this area here, the 5,380, 5,370. And as we pulled up into that area, we were taking short opportunities. My best trade of the day was this one here. That's where we were looking for sellers. Buyers got trapped here, sellers trapping the buyers, and then sold it off lower. We had another number of opportunities that we pointed out against the point of control. Really decent sell day, and everything we looked at pretty much would have worked out. So very nice day. Trade of the day was Najam's oil trade. Had a great opportunity, selling it all the way down for 100 points plus. And my day closes Profitable P&L 732. Good discipline, good win rate 80%. Trap buyers on 15. Taking sell on trap buyers against the 1 minute point control was the best trade of the day. And that makes up for yesterday's loss. So I wanted to put a positive day in and try to end the week strongly on Friday. All right, folks, that is all for now. Take care and hope to see you tomorrow.